Main event, Sean Strickland, Nassourdine Imavov. I've tipped my hand egregiously early, but I'll break it down again anyways. Nassourdine is currently sitting at minus 130, Strickland at plus 110. This opened at like PK 115, 105. So it's moved only a tad, but it's definitely moved. This is a short notice replacement. Strickland was the last main event of 2022. He is subbing in for Kevin Gastelum, who had to withdraw via mouth injury. So, Dan, I've spoiled my hand, so I'm going to lead this one off and then poke holes in my logic here. Sean Strickland, phenomenal striker. We all know that. He's a striker at trade. Nassourdine Imavov, phenomenal striker. Shockingly, a striker at trade. What we've seen out of Nassourdine is an involvement in the ground game. Buckley is a great example. What he did to Shabazian is a great example. Stylistically, this Strickland fight is by far going to be the toughest fight he's been in because of the way they both like to fight. Strickland likes to fight in the pocket, work off that jab, stay in a phone booth, and Nassourdine will engage there. Here's why I feel comfortable placing Imavov at that. I got it at 110. And here's the reason why I feel comfortable placing it at 110. And I would probably play it all the way up to 140, which I tweeted about. Sean Strickland is lower volume. Sean Strickland leans off that jab. And Sean Strickland's footwork, although deceptive, people clown him for his footwork because he's extremely flat-footed. He's really good at sliding out of the pocket, so I don't want to insult him and say that his footwork is shit. It's not shit. It's just unique. But when you're facing a guy on the other side, like Imavov, I know the Cannonier split decision could have gone either way, and same with Jack Hermanson. They both could have gone either way. But when you look at a guy like Imavov, he brings a very, very unique style. And it's a style where he will be in and out. He will be throwing leg kicks, which Jared Cannonier beat the shit out of Strickland's leg with those leg kicks. And I think that the involvement and the working in of the wrestling for this high-paced 26-year-old is good. My only fear, and the reason why I bopped it down from 2 units against Gastelum to 1 unit here, is because I'm going to be honest, Imavov has shown that he relies solely on head movement, and that could bode for Sean Strickland finding a home. I'm not banking on it. I really think it's unlikely. I just think it's possible. My other small fear, Dan, is cardio issues. Imavov really started to fade at the end of his Buckley fight. He did throw high volume, but he did start to fade in a 3-round fight. Strickland is no stranger to 5-round wars. The only reason why I'm not putting as much stock into that is because Imavov always was training for a 5-round fight. And this fight was always meant to be 5 rounds. Now, we've never seen him go 5 rounds. We haven't seen him since the Buckley fight. So the last we've seen, he started to fade in the end of midway through the 3rd. But I'm kind of
also the 5-round fight that he's training for is a much higher pace fight than a Strickland fight. Gastelum's a guy that is counterpunching with you every time you throw, more so than Strickland working behind that jab.
That too. And so with Imavov, I really like his style. I really like his striking. He really puts together combinations. He's extremely accurate. And outside of Phil Hawes, who is a stylistic nightmare, who I think that if they ran back right now, after he beat up on Shabazian, beat up on Heinisch, and he's 10 minutes of control time against Buckley, where you can see the improvements, I think he wins that one too. And so you have a guy who's 26 years old. Every single fight I watched, the leaps and bounds from the fight before are insane. But this is a step up in competition. I do want to notify that. So I did end up going 1 unit minus 110 for Nassourdine. Please tell me where your head's at. Is it worth adding another unit? Is it worth sticking in my 1 unit? Are you a little nervous about it, or are you maybe even on the other side? What's your take, Dan? Because I value your take.
I'm pretty aligned with your thinking. I ultimately, for me, it's a pass right now. If I do play it, it'll be a maximum of 1 unit, or to win 1 unit. on the Imavov side. Sean Strickland's a guy I hate betting on fights that he's included in. He's so hard to predict what Sean Strickland's going to show up. And it's not so much like other guys that are unpredictable. It's what the hell's going on in his brain? And it's always been the case. I mean, even in media day this week, he's talking about his fight versus Derek Brunson. Like everyone else doesn't know what they're talking about and how he fought a perfect fight. And that he, like 9 out of 10 times judges are going to give him that.
You mean Cannonier?
It just, yeah, sorry.
I was just making sure.
Brunson, right?
Sure. Yeah, you said Brunson.
This fight against Cannonier, just right at the end of the year, he's still talking about how he wouldn't change a thing. He wouldn't be more urgent. He wouldn't fight at a higher pace. He wouldn't. He said it was perfection. He said he was in the matrix. He didn't get touched. He's a guy who's always had this apparent mythical jujitsu that people talk about, and he flies out to train with Hamzat, or I think it's even the other way around. Hamzat flies him out to get grappling rounds in with, and I don't think he's ever going to grapple in a fight. It's just, like he's a guy that's got so many question marks and could do so many things that I get uncomfortable betting on any fight he's a part of. And I do think that in a pure striking match, we saw how undisciplined he is. We saw how he's just going to want to get he gets punched in the face, and more than anything, he loses his game plan.
Yeah, and he tries to get it back, and it's the same reason why betting on Michel Pereira can scare you. Michel Pereira is different, but it's like, remember when Sean Strickland fought Jack Marshman, and he's just piecing Jack Marshman up for every fight. And they're in the third round, and Sean is literally leaning in, letting him hit his face and being like, come on, like having a meltdown. And it's like, when you're putting your hard-earned cash on someone, you want to know that they're going out there with full intentions of not getting into a firefight, not making dumb decisions, not willing to get hit or be hit to get his off, you know? And so that was almost a point, Dan, that you're mentioning that I actually put into the camp of a positive for the Imavov backers. I mean, you saw that grappling match. I know you did, at Submission Underground, where he got flying rear naked choked. Like, let's be real. I mean, Strickland's not going to come out here and put the hurt on Nassourdine. I mean, Edmund Shabazian can wrestle. Ian Heinisch can wrestle. They got smoked via finishes. So I love watching Imavov progress. And I think that, I know we say this a lot and we've pretty much always been right, but I think that this is going to be a big time coming out party for Imavov, where, similar to Dolidze, you're not going to get these prices again. This seems like a very good price on a guy who has so much potential. I think that win or lose, I think I'll be happy with the fact that I had Imavov at -110. Even if he goes out there and gets knocked out, I think I would sleep like a baby knowing I got -110 on a guy that I fully believe can be a contender at middleweight.
Against the guy coming off the couch.
Right. Still clearly focused on what previously happened.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he loves to fight. He's not a guy that just doesn't go to the gym when he's not in camp. Like he goes to get licks in because he's like Happy Gilmore. He craves the contact, taking the whatever heaters off the chest. But yeah, he's not in fight camp.
I love Strickland. It's just hard for me to not lean Imavov. It's also worth mentioning that this is taking place at 205. The only reason why I want to mention that is because Sean Strickland used to fight at 170. And so I'm not saying he's going to be, he's small for 185. I know he cut a lot of weight. He is small for 205 though. And I know it's nice because Imavov's a 185er. So it's not like he's going up to fight like a serious 205er, but I think that come fight night, Imavov's going to look in better shape, pretty significantly heavier. So that's also another point for Imavov, in my opinion.